these companies, and undeniably they are monopolies. Everything else, all the other tactics flow from those two truisms.
Amid growing concerns over the legal protections for big tech and the reach of corporate censorship, Representative Darrell Issa considers the best course of action. He spoke on a panel discussing the disparities between the treatment of conservative and mainstream media.
The question is, if we have more MSNBCs and CNNs and the rest of the mainstream media, do we in fact accomplish anything? Or is what we need to do to make sure that they can never again shut down a Parler or exclude?
Issa highlighted how Parler never had a chance to make their case before being shut down.
When a Jimmy Carter appointee, listen carefully, somebody appointed before 1980 who is still on the court, denied Parler a simple 10 days to make their case for not being shut down and shut out of business by Amazon, they were denied.
But if the tables were turned on the mainstream media, he believes there would be a different outcome.
Can you imagine if the printer refused to print the New York Times and they went for relief, if they would have been able to get that from that same judge? Of course they would.
Issa identified the problem of long-standing federal judges in courts.
When we look at making sure that we write laws and enforce them, one of the things we have to do, and this is something Ken and I serve on judiciary, also dealing with the courts, we've got to put an end to people that have been on the bench for 50 years being able to make those kinds of decisions and shutting off the only voice left when the monopolies had shut down the president.
He also pointed out the overarching issue of systematic legal bias in favor of big tech.
Today, they are in fact picking winners and losers, and they're doing so with so much protection that even the New York Times is easier to sue than Facebook or Twitter, and that's got to change.
This, as Section 230 shields tech giants from litigation regarding user content.
Section 230, according to its authors, was never intended to be anything but a protection for a common carrier, for someone who more or less blindly allowed product to transit the internet. Once they started doing what they're doing, they in fact violated the spirit of 230. And so, yes, we are going to have to amend it.
Issa says it's not just monopolies, it's the unilateral moves they make against alternative media that pose a threat.
If you can break down the barriers to entry, competition will fix monopolies. The thing that I'm most concerned about is not Facebook and Twitter. The thing I'm most concerned about is here's Amazon Web. They're simply providing computers in the sky, and they made a decision that they had the right to shut off an enterprise who they disagreed with what they were saying, even though what was being said on Parler had less to do with January 6th than what was being said on Facebook and Twitter. And they knew it, and they did it anyway, and that's dangerous.
The California representative urges the public to defend their rights and their assets.
We have to find a way to tear down the barriers to make sure that American innovators can get into this market. And one of the ways is for everyone in this audience to own their data, to own their ability to demand that it be portable, that Facebook never be able to say, if you leave us, you leave with nothing. No, every point of contact you have on your Facebook or Twitter account is your asset.